Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the match preview. Middlesbrough versus Everton. Baz, it's a game we simply have to take 3 points from. Middlesbrough are currently a point above the relegation zone, and we've got to go there with confidence and think we can turn these over today, because they're not a team that scores a lot of goals. So I think, you know, if we can go there confident, feel like we can score goals, then we'll get the 3 points.
Yeah, they don't score a lot. They don't concede loads either, though. They're generally built on defence, aren't they? Being a strong unit. We went up there last year in the League Cup and won in the quarter final, didn't we? When Delafeu and Rom scored. So we got, you know, our record's not bad up there. But it's when you're looking at the games we've got coming up, it's an opportunity to put real pressure on everyone above us. And we've got Spurs away in a few weeks, and we've got Liverpool and things like that. So these are a game where you'd look at the league and you'd say, if we're going to ask questions of everyone above us, this is the type of game we've got to win. But it will be a difficult game. Yeah,
but as you say, I mean, the game we played against at home, I looked at them that day and actually thought they would be probably the most comfortable of the teams that have been promoted. But I suppose they put all their eggs in one basket when they brought in what's his name from Spain? Negredo obviously scored that day, and they haven't really been able to compliment him with players that they're also they also want to play good football, which I think when they played West Ham, the fans were getting a little bit frustrated with the fact that they were continuing to play in that way when other things were called for, and the manager didn't really want to entertain that. I don't really know where I've seen that before.
Spanish manager.
So I suppose the key thing is just keep it tight, which we've been doing anyway, and just try and dominate the ball, because if they were dominating the ball, I don't know what they've got left in them without being sort of disrespectful to them. I think they've had a decent season for what they're trying to aim to do, but at home it's been a lot of draws. And you look at some of the other teams like Burnley set the store out, we're going to win games at home, we've got a way of playing, we're going to win games at home, we're not going to change dramatically too much from what we did last season, and we're going to go with our strengths. That's going to keep them up. But Middlesbrough, I don't know whether they've got enough to see them do that.
Yeah, they've tended to just play that nice football on the floor, knock it round no matter what happens. I mean, we're well drilled in that formation and that way of playing for many years, well, for a few years, weren't we? And they haven't got anything really to mix it up. They don't like to. And yet Negredo's quite good in the air, which you think they gamble a little bit more on that. They've also got the pace of Adama Traore, who is lightning, former Barcelona player. So he's one we'll have to watch out for. Adam Forshaw, of course, another one in that squad who's decent. But it's like I say, I think if Everton can get there, keep it tight, get the foot on the ball, we should be able to cause them problems. You know, the last 3 home games were 3 against Southampton, 4 against City, 6 against Bournemouth. You know, the goals are in the team. We have to be a little bit more. We have to play better than we did at Stoke in an attacking sense.
I think what we've got to start doing is dominating the ball and it ended up getting a couple of goals. Do you know what I mean? Like we went to Palace and we dominated the ball and we got the goal. Obviously Stoke, for all that game we did dominate the ball, but it took a little dodgy goal for us to score. We have to start turning that domination into goals,
chances and goals.
You know, chances and goals that win your games comfortably. That's the next step. We've done that at home recently a lot, but we have to start doing that away, because really, you know, if you want to get in the Champions League, you've got to be winning home and away every week. You know, you can hardly drop the ball all season. You've got to be getting 65 points plus easily. Do you know what I mean? So that's something we've got to do when we go to places like Middlesbrough. You've got to do that, haven't you? You really have to start turning that domination into goals.
Yeah, I mean, the Palace game, I thought we did, you know, we spoke about it before. I always felt as though the goal had come. We were in total control that day, but we give ourselves a sticky moment when, you know, Scott Dan almost wins it for them with 5 or 6 minutes left just before we score. And yet we saw Sunderland go there at the weekend and take early chances and now 4-0 up, and you're going, we were in total control and we ended up winning with a late goal. We have got to get that early goal and get our football right. We've got to make sure that Romelu Lukaku's not isolated at the weekend. because that hinders the way we play. We can get up and support them, we can cut through any team, but we've got to make sure we get people around them.
He's got big decisions, hasn't he, to make regarding the starting lineup. We all know that midfield and how many players, but also the shape of it. Obviously went back to 4-4, well, 4-3-3 at the weekend. It's whether he goes back to a 3 at the back. I mean, I'd be more comfortable with going 3 at the back, playing away from home. I think that suits the way we play. I think it allows Coleman and Bain to get forward, but also the insurance when the opposition are attacking. And you know, we've done quite well out of that. I mean, okay, at Stoke it was a little bit hit and miss, but they played a way that they could, with having obviously Arnautovic and Crouch, and obviously, and also having someone on the ball, Charlie Adam, to be able to pick those passes out. So it'd be interesting to see what he does.
Yeah, I'd definitely go with the 3 at the back, because it's the system that we've looked the most comfortable with. The players kind of ironically know where to play, and sometimes when you change that system, they're looking around. I don't think we kind of knew in that second half of the weekend, last weekend against Bournemouth, what system we were playing or how it should look. I think the 3-5-2 enables, we've spoke about on the final word last week, how Murray and Williams they seem to appear better in a 3. Holgate gives us some legs, and Coleman and Baines are two of our most attacking players. So, you know, we don't do wingers very well at Everton, certainly at the minute, and so Baines and Coleman give us that natural width, and it'll allow, you know, players like Garner to come back in maybe, and him and Schneiderlin to shut that midfield down. And if we could have, you know, Ross and maybe a Tom Davies in there getting around Rom, that should cause them problems. And they're a good footballing side, so we're going to want to pack it with midfield players to get hold of the ball, and if we can get the ammunition to Rom,
dominate the possession. And obviously he's got some big calls to make, hasn't he? That's what's great now about this squad. He's got a lot of players in the squad that are making him have to, you know, does he, I mean, for me, I think Barry is more of a home player now than an away player. I think he's one that could go out. Luchman maybe can be more of an impact sub coming on in a game like this, and having, because I just think you have to dominate the ball first to then get hold of it to get the goals. And I think they can get round. I think clubs will get round, teams will get round Barry away from home, and obviously Luchman's obviously young and inexperienced, and people still look around. So there's definitely two I'd probably look at, and as you say, the shape as well.
I think just go back to what we're doing well. You know, it's the thing that's carried us forward so far. Yeah, we weren't fantastic at Stoke, but we weren't fantastic at Stoke in general. So, you know, might have just been, even if we'd have played 4 that night, it might have been a similar way of playing. I think we abandoned that at half time at Stoke. We went with 4 against Bournemouth. We abandoned that when we were in trouble and went back to 3 and took the game away from them. I think I'd just go with the 3, and I'd just get that midfield packed with good players, good footballers. Because I think if you went with a midfield 4 or maybe a Snyder and a Guy, Barkley, Tom Dave, they're all good on the ball. There's legs and they're good on the ball as well. So it would give us that opportunity to get in and move them around.
I think you just got to hope as well that players continue the form. Romelu Lukaku, you know, Ross Barkley, because we can sit here and talk about formations and all this, but then at the day it's about players in form, isn't it? And if the players are in form, they don't necessarily mind what system they're playing at, as long as they feel good about the system and are confident in, which, you know, Ross and Rom are at the moment. Snyderland's doing all right. The keeper, everyone's in a good moment, and the confidence is up, and it's just about keeping that going, isn't it? And you've got to look at it now and go, week by week, you expect, in certain games you expect to pick up 3 points, and this is one of those games where the way to say it without being disrespectful is, if you want to finish in a European place, you've got to go to a team like Middlesbrough, who are a point above the relegation zone, and get the 3 points. That's the way to say it nicely.
I think it's right though, isn't it? I think, like we said, we give them credit. I like the way they play, but they do struggle for goals, and you know, they're tight at the back. So if you can get ahead, Everton go there, open them 15, just keep it nice and tight, get their crowd quiet, and then let your football take over, get in front, and then you're asking questions of them. Then have you got the belief, have you got the ability to come and turn this game around? And it also, if Everton get ahead, the confidence then. And you know, at some stage we're asking questions of this squad, and if this squad's good enough, you know, I said it last week to you before the Bournemouth game, you know, we both discussed it, If we want to be up in those European places, if one of the teams above us had Middlesbrough away at the weekend, you'd be like, Spurs were going there, and I'm not saying we're as good as Spurs, but I'm saying they're above us, Man City are above us, Liverpool, United. If those teams had Middlesbrough away, maybe Liverpool at the moment because they're not playing great, but I would still expect most of those teams to go to Borough, battle it out with them and get the 3 points. And if Everton have got aspirations of getting into that top 6, this is a game. Like you say, we've got games that look much tougher on paper coming up. This is an opportunity to try and get the 3 points.
And I think Middlesbrough as well, it's going to be very edgy. It's going to be, you look at some of those teams at the moment, and it's a funny one because sometimes teams like Hull and Swansea have had a very good January because they were rock bottom for a start, so they only had one way they could go. They've done all right in the transfer window, knowing that but Middlesbrough have sort of like, they've stuck rather than twisted. But they haven't really bought, I can't think of any players they've brought in sort of that leap out at me, and they could be one of those teams where you just look at them all season and go, they're doing all right, and then suddenly it's like, whoa, hang on, everyone else is picking up points and we're not. And I think that we could help that sort of, especially if we start the game well and maybe get a goal up early. It feeds into that.
Compounds it.
Players are starting to get a little bit desperate because they know that maybe not good enough, and I think what's shown recently as well is that because our work rate's picked up as well. If we're working hard, teams will look at us and go, if we can't match these ability wise and we can't match them physically, how are we going to beat them? And I think that's a real strength of the top teams. You look at some, again, I say I think they're the yardstick. You look at a Tottenham team and you look at them on Sundays and go, look at the team they've got, and you go, well, but look how strong they are. Look how strong they are physically and how fit those players are. And that's the model we've got to keep going and not let these teams get a foothold. And as I say, if the nerves start creeping in on Saturday at that place, then it will massively help us.
We had it last year, didn't we, at home? Not that we were in relegation worries, but at home we just weren't winning games at home, and so if you went behind, you just start sink that feeling, and you'd feel it go round the stadium. Even when we were winning and we got pegged back,
even on Saturday.
But it's still there, isn't it? But last year in particular, well, we took more points at home already than we did last year, so you can marry that up. But I think you know what it's like to be sat in the stadium and you're struggling for a run of form, and a team comes and you take the lead and you just go, here we go again. And then all of a sudden, you've seen it. I watched the Leicester Man United game yesterday. When United went 1-up yesterday, everyone just went silent, and United were able to waltz through the game, and that was a tricky game on paper. Very similar to what this is for us. Middlesbrough are a decent side and they can cause us problems, but we've said it before, if we're serious about chasing down this top 6, this is an opportunity for us to get 3 points. And you know what, Liverpool have got a tough game against Spurs at the weekend. If Liverpool were to get beat or draw, we win, you're talking 3 or 4 points the difference between us, and it's 14 the other week.
We will have big games coming up in the next few weeks, but we've got to be in a position when those games come around that we've done ourselves all those favours and put ourselves in those positions. If other teams do slip up, we can, simple as that.
And the thing is, if you win these kind of games, when those other big games come round, you're playing, say we've got Tottenham away in a few weeks, or we've got Liverpool away not so long, if we're still close to them, a draw becomes a decent result because they're not getting away from you, and that game's out the way. They've had the opportunity to beat you there, they haven't done it. Whereas if you're 5, 6, 8 points behind, you're going to White Hart Lane or you're going to Anfield going, can we beat these and pull them back in? Where if you're going 3 or 4 points, not Spurs but Liverpool or United or whatever, because we've got both of them, if we're going to them and we can say, what, if we get a decent point here, we're still intact. That this kind of games take the pressure off those games, and this is a big one for us because to me, we didn't drop points at Stoke, but it was a missed opportunity. We done great at the weekend. We made sure we bounced back with that win, and if we can go to Borough and get the 3 points, it makes that win against Bournemouth even stronger. The teams will start looking and going, my God, these are on a roll, aren't they? They're not going anywhere. It's an opportunity.
Yeah, you've got to create that. You've got to create that illusion as well, haven't you? Before you go into that teams are beaten, I think that's a big thing as well. So let us know what you think in the comments about this one. Are you confident that it's a nailed on 3 points? If there's any worries, let us know what they are. Who stands out for Middlesbrough? Who's the player? Obviously Negredo's the big one, but you know who's the one we need to look out for? Yeah, and who's going to win it for us? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching Toffee TV. We'll see you later.